want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. Is it true that we go to a place called, quote, paradise when we die? That's an interesting question. In fact, you may not know this is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get. Several years ago, I wrote a book called The Top 10 Questions Quantitatively that I've gotten over the years, and this is one of those top 10 questions. And the reason is kind of multi-layer. You have this story in Luke chapter 16 where you have a rich man descending into hell and you have a beggar named Lazarus going into what the Bible calls Abraham's bosom and also called paradise. You have the thief on the cross. When he breathes that breath of confession, he says, why would we condemn you? We're the ones that are condemned. And Jesus confirms him and says, today you will be with me in paradise. And yet, at the same time, then you go to Matthew 27, it says, when Jesus rose from the dead, many saints of the old raised with him. They walked in the holy city. Then you get into 2 Corinthians chapter 12. The Apostle Paul says he's caught up into the third heaven, and he refers to it as paradise. So let me work with this question kind of backwards now that we have all the information. We collectively like to talk about heaven and hell. This is really on the heaven side of things. We love to quote John chapter 14, 1 and 2, where it says Jesus goes to prepare a place for us, the mansions that we speak of. But one thing we need to realize is that, quote, new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem, what we collectively talk about when it gets talk about heaven, that's all after Revelation chapter 21. That's all at the very, very end. And so my death that will happen one day, barring the Lord's return, is going to occur before then. So when I, quote, die, I technically will go to a place that the Apostle Paul called paradise. It's a beautiful description. Revelation chapter 4 and 5 talks about what it looks like right now. I'm not going to immediately get the keys to my mansion. I'm not going to be walking the streets of gold. That's all, quote, in eternity. And so it is properly fitting to claim that when a believer dies, they go to paradise. That which was described pre-crucifixion, that which the Apostle Paul described post-resurrection. But I think we'd all agree when discussing somebody the importance of Jesus Christ and the gospel, it's kind of wise not to use all the different intricate words that maybe the Bible uses on a first conversation. So we just like to keep it simple, that with Jesus Christ, there's the opportunity for heaven. Without, unfortunately, there is hell. But we recognize that as a believer today, the Bible refers to what we, quote, call heaven as paradise. Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.